Imagine needing to score 5 goals just to keep your Champions League dream alive. In 2017, Barcelona faced exactly that situation. In the first leg of their round of 16 tie, Paris Saint-Germain had destroyed Barcelona 4-0 in Paris. For most teams, the tie would have been over. But Barcelona had something the numbers couldn't measure: a packed Camp Nou, belief, and 90 minutes to try something extraordinary. On March 8, 2017, PSG arrived in Barcelona with a 4-goal advantage. They had never lost a Champions League tie after leading by 4 goals in the first leg. Barcelona needed a miracle, and within just a few minutes, the impossible began to look slightly less impossible. Barcelona didn't wait long to attack. Just 3 minutes into the second leg, the home side found the breakthrough they desperately needed. Luis Suarez rose to meet the ball and sent it into the net, giving Barcelona an early 1-0 lead. The Camp Nou exploded, but one goal was nowhere near enough. Barcelona kept attacking, pressing PSG deeper and deeper. Then, before halftime, another goal arrived when a PSG defender accidentally turned the ball into his own net. Suddenly, Barcelona were leading 2-0 on the night and only 2 goals away from forcing the tie back into balance. After the break, the pressure continued. A penalty gave Barcelona another chance, and the home side made no mistake. The score was now 3-0. The impossible was no longer just a dream.
Barcelona were now 3 goals away from completing the comeback. The Camp Nou was roaring, and PSG were beginning to panic. But then, in the 62nd minute, everything changed. Edinson Cavani found space inside the box and fired the ball into the net. The score was now 3-1. Suddenly, Barcelona needed 3 more goals just to qualify. Worse, Cavani almost scored again moments later, but the goalkeeper made a huge save to keep the comeback alive. Time was running out, and PSG knew exactly what was at stake. With every minute that passed, Barcelona's miracle looked less likely. Then came the moment that nobody expected. With only a few minutes left, Barcelona were still 2 goals short. And that's when Neymar stepped forward. With just minutes remaining, Barcelona still needed 2 goals. Then, in the 88th minute, Neymar stepped over the ball for a free kick. He curled the shot beyond the wall and into the net. Suddenly, it was 4-1, and the Camp Nou exploded again. Barcelona still needed 1 more goal just to force extra time, but they had almost no time left. Then came another turning point. Luis Suarez went down inside the area, and the referee awarded Barcelona a penalty. Neymar stepped up again and buried it. 5-1. Now Barcelona were just 1 goal away from completing the impossible. PSG were hanging on. Barcelona were throwing everyone forward, and the stadium was almost unbearable. There were only seconds left. Then Neymar lifted one final pass over the defense, and substitute Sergi Roberto appeared in exactly the right place.
For a split second, nobody knew what was happening. Then, the ball reached Sergi Roberto, and the substitute stretched to meet Neymar's final pass. He got the slightest touch, and the ball went into the net. The Camp Nou exploded. Barcelona had done it. The final score was 6-1, and the aggregate score was 6-5. They had erased a 4-goal first-leg deficit and completed the biggest comeback in Champions League history. PSG had led 4-0 in Paris. Barcelona had been 1 goal away from elimination with only minutes remaining. But in the final moments, they scored 3 times. It was more than just a victory. It became one of the most unforgettable nights football had ever seen. A night when 5 goals stopped being impossible.